Every year, Notre Dame has been getting contributions from true freshmen, whether that is Benjamin Morrison, Jeremiah Love, Anthony Knapp, Aeneas Williams. The list has been going on and on under the Marcus Freeman era. Who's going to be the breakout freshman in 2025? Let's talk offense and some of the candidates who could make an impact this fall. Ryan Roberts from A to Z Sports, breaking down everything Notre Dame football. Folks, you're going to blink your eyes. It's going to be spring football. And we're going to be talking about nothing but the 2025 college football season and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's push to get over the mountaintop and win their first national championship in quite some time. It was close in 2024, obviously 14 wins, national title berth, but Notre Dame has another step to take forward. And we have seen in recent seasons under head coach Marcus Freeman, he is not afraid to play true freshmen if they are ready and if they can play a specific role, whether it is offensively or defensively. On the offensive side of the ball, we've seen players over the years like Jeremiah Love, like Anthony Knapp. We've seen Charles Jagasaw start a game as a true freshman. We saw Aeneas Williams and what he was able to do this past fall down the stretch, including his big game against Penn State in the playoffs. So true freshmen have had roles in this offense. Jaden Greathouse a couple years ago and the early impact he made, Rico Flores, that we have seen offensive players make a tremendous push in their initial season to help this Notre Dame offense. In 2025, it's going to be a very interesting year because for the first time in a while, there's not a crazy amount of clear paths to playing time on the offensive side of the ball, but there are three players I wanted to highlight as far as the true freshmen in the 2025 class that are coming in that could be a part of the formula for success for Notre Dame. I want to start with at tight ends, and this is a really interesting one because obviously Cooper Flanagan, his timeline with the Achilles injury, who knows when he'll be coming back. Eli Raridan has dealt with his series of injuries in his past, obviously dating back to his first year at Notre Dame. So it's been a grind, obviously in the injury side for Eli Raridan. So with the injuries just kind of in the forefront, and obviously the biggest one with Cooper Flanagan, do guys like Jack Larson take a step forward? Can a transfer from Arkansas like Ty Washington present a big role and to have a big role in this offense? And those are major questions, which is why I think true freshman James Flanagan could come in and he could have a role initially, whether that is as a tight end 3 or maybe eventually, depending on how things shake out or injuries happen or, God forbid, those things are going to happen at some point. A true freshman like James Flanagan, I think, could come in and play because obviously the son of former Notre Dame great Jim Flanagan is one of the better blockers in the 2025 class of tight ends just nationally. And he's got a pretty strong frame. He's going to be a kid that is going to be able to gain weight tremendously quick because he was a 3-sport athlete for his high school in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So he's a guy that I think is going to come in, is going to gain weight, going to gain traction. I wouldn't be shocked if James Flanagan's playing a very important role as a true freshman. The guy everybody was going to want to talk about is true freshman left tackle Will Black, considered a 5-star recruit by multiple platforms in the 2025 class, 6'7", 290 plus pounds already, a really gifted athlete, is running the 4.9s reportedly, and put together obviously a great year in the state of Connecticut, a former Canadian-born player, and made the transition to U.S. football a couple seasons ago. Now, in a lot of years, you might have a Will Black walking in and could compete for playing time pretty early on. And we have seen true freshman left tackles at points, right? We've seen Blake Fisher start the year before getting injured as a true freshman left tackle. We've seen Joe Alt play down the stretch of a season as a true freshman. We saw Anthony Knapp last fall. But the problem is going into the 2025 season, you have Charles Jagasaw, you're going to have Anthony Knapp, you have Gerby Lamberts, you have Emil Wagner. Like, offensive tackle depth chart is loaded and deep. And there's going to be some conversations of who plays where. But I just think that it's going to be a really tough time for a player like Will Black to earn playing time. Not because he's not really good, because I think the long term, Will Black is going to be a tremendous player for Notre Dame. But is it going to happen in 2025? My biggest thing is, if he comes in, and this is kind of more of an all-encompassing full season, if there is a point in the season where you're just like, look, Will Black is just one of our best 5. Is he a guy that could push to get on the field early on? It's very, very possible. The third guy, and this one's a much more unclear pathway, I'm going to go with Antavius Richardson at wide receiver. I know some people will pick Elijah Burris. Some may even pick Jerome Bettis Jr. as kind of a big body guy that could block and all that type of stuff. But I'm going to go with Scrap Richardson because 6'1", about 170 pounds, 165 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. This is a 10,700 meter kid. And this is kind of more from a full scope perspective. I would not be shocked if this is a young man that competes on special teams. Maybe he gets an opportunity to compete to be a returner at Notre Dame. And in those, because we've seen some jet sweeps utilized in Mike Denbrock's offense, is he a guy that has a specialized role as a true freshman? You know, obviously you have a deep wide receiver room, at least on paper, coming back. You got Jaden Greathouse, you got Jordan Faison, you got Malachi Fields coming in. You have some of the younger guys that are on the roster already, like KK Smith and Logan Saldate and Cam Williams and Micah Gilbert. Like, there's a lot of talented wide receivers on this group, but a lot of guys that are unproven as well. Antavius Richardson, I don't think is going to come in and be like a 30-plus catch guy as a true freshman, but could he be a jet sweep, gadget type of guy with the ability of had the ball in his hands? Because he was a high school quarterback that is just used to having the football and making plays out in space. So interested to see if Antavius Richardson, Scrap Richardson, at some point this year could find a role for Notre Dame. Folks, in the comments right now, tell me, what true freshman offensive players are you excited about for 2025? We're going to talk about defensive players next, but let me know about that offense, true freshman from the 2025 recruiting class. Who are you excited about? We'll talk defense next. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and as always, go Irish.